Good evening, everyone. I'm Akila, and we will be starting. Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll be starting this in next 10 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry for the delay, but we'll start it off by 5 minutes. In 5 minutes. Hello and good evening, everyone. This is Mahalakshmi, and I'm gonna be your host for the day. We cordially invite you to the meeting. We are here to glorify the company's Hobbies Club launch. Blackbuck's vision is to foster innovation, build a technological capability and ecosystem, and expand opportunities. We accomplish our objective by utilizing collaborative abilities, experience, and collective enthusiasm to design and deliver initiatives that result in positive change. Mrs. Anuradha Tota founded Blackbug Engineers in 2013. Mrs. Anuradha Tota has more than 25 years of experience working for MNCs, including Microsoft, Wipro, and Satyam. An ISB graduate and successful entrepreneur, speaker, and mentor. Her passion lies in bringing world class education closer to students. Anuradha ma'am is also a committee member of AP State Higher Education Council, and she was invited by the President of India to take part in the innovation design policy for addressing current problems in the country's innovation system. Currently, she is the CEO of Blackbuck Group. We would like ma'am to say a few words about her experience.
Thank you, Mahalakshmi. And all the students here know me. You don't need to give background of me, complete background of me to this event. So, because all the students know me. So, students, I'm very excited about this and would like to thank guest Shireen for accepting to launch the Hobbies Club. As we all know, students are, it's not just work and study. What is a student without fun? So there should be lots of fun along with this platform, which is trying to give world-class education. And that's the reason we are launching this hobby club. And a lot of other hobbies follow. This is the beginning, which we are starting with the photography club. But the plan is to launch the clubs in various other interests that usually students have, including cricket and your online video games. So there are so many clubs that we are planning one after the other. And I would like to thank Roshan for this. Actually, he has completely taken this activity of launching the club on his shoulders. There was absolutely no other support for him. So he has taken it entirely on his shoulders. So Roshan, very well done. And thank you once again, Shireen. So I want to hear from you about your journey and how you have taken up this, what prompted you to taken up this, and would like to hear on your success story more. There are a lot of students who are not only interested in engineering, and we see here a lot of stories that students who are IITians, who are from different engineering colleges, have made their name in filmmaking and various other things. So there are a lot of potential people who could become successful like you. Would like to hear your story and see if there are very good there is good talent in among the students. They will pick it up. Thank you once again, Mahalakshmi and Roshan. Over to you, Mahalakshmi.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your encouraging words, ma'am. Next, I introduced Mr. Raj Kumar, an IIT graduate having 6 years of experience in expanding multiple early stage startups. Currently, he is the director at Blackbuck's Group. We would like Sir to say a few words about his experience in Blackbucks.
Very good evening, one and all. Good to see all of you in this one platform. Well, I don't take much time. I'll finish in very fast. So basically, yeah, I am the one who witnessed entire campus life from the scratch level. Like, we started very new in our campus, and we are the one who witnessed to start a lot of clubs and activities through our college life. So that is where I got to know my passion. I got to know my hobbies to be, have that kind of courage to start new clubs, new activities, and that's where made my identity in my college life. So I know most of the students over here who's been part of Zoom or who's been part of YouTube who is seeing right now, I've lost the campus life from almost 2 years or 1.5 years. I know you guys are missing a lot, but yes, since still I'm going to say one thing. this campus life is more important, and the kind of activities you do is more important for creating memories. So for all these people who are missing the campus life, we wanted to do something out of student centric. So as a Blackbuck group, we have a very crystal clear vision saying that students should have fun, should learn the courses and grow in their life. So I know every student can excel in the BTech life or graduate life through their technical or non-technical, and through some kind of activities. Everybody have strengths. So that's the reason as a Blackbuck group, we wanted to bring something like innovative for the student centric in terms of having fun and in terms of having learning the courses, though technical or non-technical, and also yes, having a good career path. So this is a platform, guys. I mean, the team, entire team is very engaging team over here, like all the team of our engagement club. So we are launching different activities coming up every week, not like only 1 week. So I recommend every student to be part of this kind of journey. Do something out of it, and try to build your brand. And remember, guys, it's not only limited your campus, and this is completely across India. So you might mingle with a lot of people like you are like-minded and can really get your name out of it. So with this, I'll just say all the best for all of you. Have fun, do well, and get good careers.
Yes, sir.
Over to you,
Thank you for
Mahalakshmi.
yes, sir. Thank you for your inspiring and kind words, sir. Hereby I introduce Akhila to give a small glimpse about the Blackbuck product.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akila, representing the Hobbies Club. So I'll be briefing you about what exactly is Hobbies Club and how you can make best out of it. So there is a proverb that goes, there is no end to learning. It's not just the books or classes which you learn from, but we can also learn in a fun manner. One should always enjoy the learning journey. So here is what Blackbuck is bringing a new way of learning things through Hobbies Club, where you can learn in fun manner. So what exactly is Hobbies Club? Hobbies Club is where you join, showcase talent, and guide someone. So how it actually does. So in the platform, you can join any of the groups you are interested in and meet fellow persons who share similar interests. So you can collaborate and work on improving your skills and showcase your talent here. So it is always fun to discuss with someone who is like-minded, right? So once after joining the respective group, you can start creating and sharing useful resources with others through which you can like creating and sharing useful resources with others through posts, which includes rich content in the form of videos, text, GIFs, using which others can get a great head start. Content can be including like suggestions, tips, and many more things. So periodic participation in contests will keep you in touch with your skills and let you know you're standing on the podium. Also, you can take suggestions from the community and clarify doubts by discussing with other fellow comrades. And also, once you build a community of your interest, then you can take forward to next level. That is, you can start conducting contests, and then you can spread your wings more than. So this was the brief intro about Hobbies Club. Hoping you all will get on board soon. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Akila, for the brief description. So we are delighted to have DJ Shirin, popularly known as Club Queen. DJ Shirin started her musical career at the age of 19. She is one of the youngest female DJ of India and have already earned the title of Club Queen of India by the industry. Shirin was one of the amongst the top 7 DJs of the country at the age of 21. She won the Times Music War of DJs in 2007 and was the youngest national finalist of India with barely 16 years of being in the DJing industry. Shirin is the first Indian female DJ to have released an EDM album worldwide on iTunes, Saavn, Gaana, Spotify, and Amazon. She has performed at numerous clubs and in numerous shows within a span of 13 years and represented India on an international level. Known for her helpful nature and support for women empowerment, this DJ, producer, and rapper is worthy of the title Club Queen. Ranked amongst top 10 DJs in India by Exhibit magazine, brand ambassador for international brand called B Moda Headphones, AVG, and Health Naturals, influencer for international brand Monster Energy, ranked as the #1 female DJ by many websites. We would like DJ Sherin to share her journey as a DJ.
Hi, Mahalakshmi. Thank you so much for this beautiful introduction. Thanks a lot. And I'm really honored and happy to be a part of today's launch and super excited for this one. And it's something very exciting, something to look forward to. So well done, Team Blackbuck.
Thank you, Shirin. So we are eager to listen to you, your story. How did you start? How did you get interested in this? And how could you make it so big in short time?
Well, like she said in the introduction, like Mahalakshmi said that, basically it was, first of all, when I started back in 2005, India was not very clear on the concept of DJing. And, it was something like, people had not much heard about. And this is something that whatever few handful of people were doing this thing, they were all guys, they were all men, and it was like a male dominated industry. And there were hardly any women in here, and there were hardly any females being a DJ. And it was something, something was like, too much out of the box. And so to break in at that time into this industry was very difficult. And it was basically my curiosity. I was always interested in music since I was a little girl. And like music was my life. I used to sneak in Walkman into my classrooms and get punished for that. And music was something that I'd grown up with. And I was just curious to know, like, what do DJs exactly do? And, it was all very complicated, it looked like. And how did they, do this thing? It was just curiosity. And DJs was something I'd only seen on television at that time. Like, I was a college girl and I was a simple school college girl. And I had no idea, how nightclubs were in real life, what concerts were. So it was something I'd only seen on television. And so it was basically sheer curiosity that got me into this field. I just wanted to learn for fun, and that is how it started. So it was just like something that you just want to learn, not make it as a profession, but just to learn. And once I started learning, I realized that this is something I want to do. This is something very interesting, and it's something very cool. So then I thought, okay, maybe this can be, this is my passion, and this can be my profession because I love music so much. So it was nothing very planned at that time. I was just like 18, 19, and it just happened. There seems to be some network issue over here at my end, I guess.
I have to unmute. Okay. So I was asking you, what do you want to suggest to students who want to get into music?
See, first of all, you have to be madly in love with music. If you want to become a DJ or if you want to become a singer or anything related to music, you have to be in love with music. You cannot just decide, I want to be a DJ or I want to be a singer because, it's something very cool and everyone is doing it. It's the in thing. That should not be your reason. It's going to give you shortcut, like, fame and all of that. That should not be your reason. So to do anything into the music industry, you have to be absolutely head over heels, in love with music. So that is step one. And once you have that passion and you have that craze, I would like to say, because I was crazy about this. So once you have that craze, then it's all you need is, to work on the skill. Hard work is required everywhere. And then after that, that's it. Your talent will speak for itself.
Yeah, but one question is like DJing. I don't go much for the parties and all, so I would not know from the little knowledge that I know. Would you also be producing any kind of music on your own?
I do produce music, and like she said in the introduction, that I'm the first female DJ to produce an EDM album worldwide with like 8 original tracks. And it was like that time we didn't even have Spotify in India back in 2015 when my album came out. So we didn't even have Spotify in India that time. So it was there on iTunes, Spotify worldwide. It was there, and it much later got introduced to the rest of the country, and a lot of people came to know about it later. But you have to try and do something different. Like, I'm an experimental person, so EDM album was something very different because I was just doing Bollywood remixes and I was rapping a bit in some of the songs. So apart from that, if you like, see, the whole concept is, again, if you like something, do it. If you're not very fond of it, I wouldn't suggest anyone to jump into it. So if someone wants to be a DJ and just play at concerts and clubs and weddings, then just do that. And if you really have this interest towards music production, then go into it, because that is also something very complicated, and it needs a lot of hard work. It needs a lot of talent and music sense. So if you are interested in it, then please go for it. Like, I was, again, curious about it, so I did it. And yeah, I keep making Bollywood remixes every now and then. But EDM album and a couple of other house music, progressive house singles that I've released on iTunes. So these are my work as a producer.
So probably when you started, you must be following someone and then emulating their styles and their methods, and then you move on to your own style. As you move on with one or two concerts, then you move on to your own style. So it takes transition. It doesn't take. I saw you nodding. So it doesn't take transition for you.
See, for me, I did not emulate anyone as such. Like I said, I was only this very simple kid from a middle class family who saw DJs on TV. Like, I saw very few Indian DJs on television, and rest on whatever music channels jo aate the us waqt 90s mein. I had seen international and Indian DJs that I'd seen on television. So I could not see. We didn't have internet that time. So we did not have this opportunity 16 years ago, as a kid, to, emulate something like this. Also, to look at the television and say, oh, wow, that is so cool, I want to do something like this, is something Indian parents would not let you do. So the whole thing was like, what is this? This is this cannot be a full-time job. So as a kid, it was nothing serious. And in college, I just wanted to learn to see the technicalities. And after that, I had my own style of music, which in India that time, not everyone was doing. First of all, girls were very few DJs, and very few hip hop DJs, exclusively hip hop R&B DJs. There were very few. So I did not really get an opportunity to emulate anyone, India or internationally. So what I started doing was, when I started playing at the club, and I saw what my crowd liked and how well I could connect with them through music, and I stuck to that, because that became my style. So there is this term which is hashtag Shireen style. So all my events, it's my style. So it's not like, some other DJs playing that same kind of stuff. So I had my own thing that I was doing, and it was experimental. Sometimes it didn't even work. Certain crowd did not respond well to it. But I stood by it, and I knew that this is how I wanted to be. So, it took me a long time to educate an audience about certain kind of music. Is a big responsibility. And, it took time, and I did not really get to do that. I will, first few concerts, I'll play like somebody else and then change. No, I didn't really do that. And today I see a lot of people doing it, because we live in the YouTube and internet generation. So nowadays, anyone who started DJing and learns after a year, within a year, actually, within 6 months, they start performing, and they start going on the internet and copying the set, which is already being played by international DJs and also by our Indian DJs. So they copy, and they have the same style, not just music wise. Maybe they're nervous. They also pick up the mic and they say the same words. That's how they interact with the crowd. And I quite don't agree with exactly copying someone, because you, as an artist, you have to have your own touch in whatever you do, whether it's writing a song, whether it's writing a rap, whether it's singing. So you have to have your own style, you have to have your own USP, your touch to it, and that's how you will be unique, and that's why you'll make a mark, and that's how you'll grow. So yeah, this whole just blindly copying someone, or doing what others are doing exactly the same way, is something I don't really agree with. And anyone who comes to me for advice, I tell them that that's the first thing you should not be doing.
How do you choose which song has to be remixed? How do you choose?
Sorry?
How do you choose which song has to be remixed?
I actually, first of all, I have to make the song. If I am not very fond of a song, if I don't like it at all, no matter how popular it is. But if I don't like it, I don't want to spend time working on it, because see, when you make a remix, you listen to the song for like hundreds of times. So if I don't like a song and if I have to listen to it like for 100 times, I get tortured. So first of all, I have to like the song. Secondly, I see apart from the fact that I love the song, is it really popular or not? Because for me, even if it is not very popular, I still can bring about certain changes into it, give it a different feel, because the song is already good. What I can do is not just add beats to it, make it different, give it a different feel, and make sure that people enjoy it in a different way. So for me, it's not just like you have to. It should be playable at concerts or parties. That's not the only thing. For me, it's like if you're not a party person, you don't go to clubs. You should be able to like my remixes, enjoy them in your car or at home, like that. So I have a different take on it.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks. For
Ma'am,
answering
there
my
is this.
questions. So
We are grateful to DJ Sharon for her encouraging words about her journey.
A pleasure.
So
Ma'am, there
Mahalakshmi,
is just
you have
one
questions? Akila,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
have questions to?
Yes, ma'am, we have questions, but before that, we'll launch the Hobbies Club, ma'am. Yeah. Okay, now I call upon DJ Sharon and also Anuradha ma'am to launch the Hobbies Club. Ma'am, can you please tell the word called launch Hobbies Club so that we could launch? Anuradha ma'am and DJ Sharon.
All right. So here I am being honored and feeling really happy to launch the Blackbuck Engineers Hobby Club.
Thank you, Shireen. And yeah, it's a great moment launching this hobby club. Okay. Okay, good. All right, very good. It was silent though, actually. There was a music, I heard that music.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but that's fine. Yeah, thanks for launching this, Shireen. And looks like there are lots of questions for you.
Is it?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
So yes, ma'am, we have collected many questions. There were many questions from audience itself. So, ma'am, yes, ma'am. So, what are the challenges you faced in the initial days of DJing, ma'am?
Like I said, it was a male-dominated industry, and that was the biggest challenge, because 16 years ago, female DJs, girls were not going out of house to the nightclub, and to go and work their whole night was like a big deal. So the challenge was to convince my parents. The challenge was it was so male-dominated that when a girl starts doing well and she gets popular, then it is not received well by the others. So to break that whole thing, the stereotype that DJing is something meant for men. DJing is something which is something that boys do and girls don't do it or should not do it. So that was something, it was like a big challenge. So that took a lot of time, and I had to be very patient with that. And also there was this notion, like there's a notion like women can't drive. People say women are very bad drivers. The same way they were like, oh, girl DJs cannot mix. They don't know anything. Technically, they're zero. So all of those things were there, and those things are still there to quite some extent. But yeah, to break that thing, to shatter the whole stigma was like a big deal for me. Challenge.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And the other thing is, what is the importance of genre, ma'am?
See again, genre is something which is I feel is very personal. It is like see, if when I started, I used to play a lot of R&B and hip hop, and that was something that my crowd at my club liked. But when I started traveling, so I started in 2005, and in 2006, since the beginning of the year, started traveling and performing. So then, when you travel, you don't know the crowd in different cities. Like I first did an event, like I started going to Northeast. So Northeast crowd is very different. They like R&B, hip hop. They love me. But the more you go, like you're traveling to different cities, you will realize different people like different genres of music, and to you have to accordingly adapt to it. So again, it's very personal. Like for example, if I do not like a certain kind of music, I don't think I will do justice when I play it, because I will not really enjoy it, I will not feel it, and I will not connect with it. So if you like Bollywood, go ahead, play Bollywood. If you love dubstep, go ahead, play it. And if there's a certain genre of music that you don't like and you won't do justice to it, so it's okay not to play that. I think it's your choice, and you should stick to something that you love doing. Like this is hobbies club, so you should do something that you love, and the kind of music you play, you should like it first. And if you like it, you enjoy it, then your audience also enjoys it as well.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So, how do you manage multiple events at the same time?
I have been my manager since actually before DJing, I was an MC and I was very, very busy. I used to do 3 or 4 events in a day. So in college, I was like bunking classes and I was doing this. So I was doing a lot of anchoring, emceeing events, and at the same time, then DJing started. So I was my own manager, and it was very difficult, I'll tell you, to manage this as 18, 19-year-old kid. To do this was very difficult. But of course, I had this diary and I used to write down which day, what event I have. And, you need to have a good memory to remember what commitment you've made where and what kind of music is needed by the party. And, so it was all very hectic. I used to roam around with my gym bag with change of clothes for different events because, everyone had a different theme. And I used to carry my headphones and my CD folders. And so I was this tiny little girl, like a coolie carrying everything, and I had to manage it myself because those days, see, a new artist does not really get, like today we have every new artist has a manager, has a team. This was not there back then. First, you had to do it all yourself, and I'm gifted with time management and multitasking. So I had this gift, so I managed it. Yeah, but later on, when it got more hectic, more busy, a lot of traveling, then I had a team and I had a manager and things to take care of. But initial first 2 years, it was all me. And I would say I was blessed.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. And there is one more question. So, we know that DJing is much about like putting on headphones most of the time. So, isn't that risky to do?
As in, the loss of hearing happens over a period of time with normal people, not just DJs. If you use a lot of your earphones and your headphones, and this is something very important which people don't discuss. So too much of headphones and earphones, whether you're listening to music or you're talking to people, is not good for your ears, and it's going to affect your hearing in in the due course of time. But as a DJ, you have to be very careful. I have been very, very careful since the beginning. I keep my headphone volume very low. I keep my monitors in control. Outside volume can be very loud and it is damaging even when you go to attend concerts. But, as a DJ, as an artist, you have to save and protect your ears because the healthier they are, the more you can work, the more you can enjoy music. And sadly, in 2016, I ruptured my eardrum, and with this, I have a problem in my left side, and there are a lot of issues that I face. So it didn't happen because of music; it happened because of some other accident. But because of this, I right now very limited usage of headphones, so I have to be more careful. And I see these young kids blasting away music on the headphones, and my only advice is like, please don't do it. Whether you're a DJ or not, don't do it. Avoid earphones and headphones unless really important. And when you use it, keep the volume low. And nowadays, smartphones have a warning, like this is not good for your ears if you cross a certain percentage of the volume. So please, yeah, keep the volume low. Take care of your ears. And whenever you go to party, to clubs or concerts, try and carry earbuds or put some cotton in your ears, and just protect your eardrums. And then you can enjoy music and party and have fun for as many years you want to.
Yeah, thanks for your suggestion, ma'am. And there is one other question. Like, what does your average day look like? Like, how it begins to how it ends?
Well, right now during pandemic, I think everyone's average day is the same. But like no 2 days were really similar. When I was busy and traveling so much, it would most of my days I would just spend the whole night packing and sorting out music, packing and I would early morning take a flight. So either I would get 1 or 2 hours of sleep, or most of the time no sleep at all, and then I would be like a zombie at the airport, and then I would take a flight to some city, check into the hotel, sleep a couple of hours, go for sound check, and there would be too many phone calls in between whenever you're trying to sleep. So a lot of phone calls happening, sound checks, then back to the room, get ready. Takes about initially I didn't care about hair, makeup, and all of that glamour stuff. So I should be ready in like 10 minutes. Now it takes longer than that. So then get ready, perform, come back, and most of the time these concerts or nightclub events, they go on all night long. So there's a lot of fun and party happening all night long, and then again it's time to either go to sleep for 3 to 4 hours if I'm lucky. Otherwise, it's no sleep at all. Take your suitcase and rush to the airport. So most of the time it was always airport, flight, hotel rooms, clubs, or concerts, and I loved every bit of it. It was very hectic because no sleep at all for days, and I was just running on tea and coffee. But I loved every bit of it. And apart from that, when I was off, I liked spending time at home or meeting friends, shopping, a lot of shopping. But apart from that, it was mostly a lot of travel, flights, airports, and that's the artist's life, and I love every bit of it.
Yes, ma'am. And one more question, ma'am. What are the ways to grow a good audience and fans of your music?
Step one, make sure your music is good, because that's the only way you're going to get fans. So, music has to be, and even if it is something that, like I said, if someone doesn't like a particular genre, like if you make a slow romantic song, not everyone's going to like it. There'll be some people who love it. There'll be some people which is, they prefer party music. So whatever music you make sure it's good. Have faith in your music. Make sure it's clean sound, because adding too many elements in your music doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be good. So keep it simple but keep it beautiful. I like to keep it simple. And apart from that, just make sure you're not copying anything. Like nowadays something is trending, everybody likes to do the same thing, and that doesn't always work. So, be honest and true to your music, and try to add a lot of soul and feel into it. It's not about the beats, and music is beyond genres. So just try and add a lot of feel and soul into it. And that's how your music will be loved by everyone. And initially, even if you don't have too many followers or fans, like I started my page in 2008, and the day I crossed 100 followers, I was very happy, and I thought I will not get more followers. The day I crossed 1,000 followers was like after a couple of years, I guess, after a year or two. And I still remember I was so happy, and I was like jumping around the house. Me and my family were like, oh God, 1,000 followers. So that was a big deal. So it takes time to build your audience, and paid promotions and buying followers and buying verified badges and all is something I don't believe in. So please don't do it. Have patience, have faith. You will get it in due course of time. If your music is good, your talent is good, everything else will follow. So, you need to have a lot of patience as an artist. Even I lose it sometimes, but you have to have patience. So, have faith in your work, and you'll grow. And one thing I would suggest not to do to all the upcoming DJs or artists is do not get into this whole social media black hole. Don't get sucked into it. So I would suggest, just keep it organic, keep it real. So even if you have few followers, they are your true followers. Respect them, appreciate them, and have faith you'll get more.
Yes, ma'am, we have a request for you. Can you please do a rap for us now?
I was trying to write something special for you guys, but I didn't. Oh, okay. Wait,
Sharon,
which one? This
Sharon,
one.
Ronnie here.
Hi,
Sharon,
Ronnie.
Ron here. Hi everyone. It is very low that someone Mahalakshmi have spoke about Sharon, but I could just say one thing. She is we all know the the IPL tune, right? The IPL tune was composed by DJ Sharon. and she is the IPL franchisee DJ, and she is she is #1 DJ, like female DJs, ranked number for female DJs. I can say that. Sharon, I just want to say you something. Like, as you are a woman entrepreneur and who you love to support women, and I would like to introduce our CEO, Anuradha ma'am. Ma'am, could you just please turn on your video, please?
I have turned on the video, Roshan, and actually I spoke. Were you there in the beginning?
I am there, but it's like I have to introduce you to her.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Roshan. Yeah.
Sharon, ma'am, Anuradha ma'am, she's very like she's very more keen into the student education system. She's now coming up with different kinds of student what can I say, student achievement process, like I can call it as student enlightenment process. She's very much busy with this. Ma'am, this is Sharon. She's like the same motives which you have. I would like you to just please be on screen, just have a little word so that we can capture some best moment of your talks.
Okay. All right. Yes, you also switch on your video, Roshan.
Yeah, ma'am, I'm switching on my video.
Yeah, something Ronnie said. I did not compose the IPL tune, just to clarify. I made a remix of the IPL tune.
Yes, I'm just saying about remix of your IPL tune.
Yeah, I did make a remix, and apart from that, yes, I performed a lot of IPL after parties, and it was too much fun to be with all the cricketers and to make all our IPL players dance. That was awesome.
Okay, all right.
I still can't see Anuradha.
Anuradha ma'am, Anuradha ma'am, yeah. Ma'am, she can't see you.
Why?
Anuradha ma'am is the one who is in who is sitting.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi everybody. Hi Rajkumar, Ronnie, Mahalakshmi, Akhila. Hello everyone.
Sharon, thank you so much, and we have a request from all of us that please do rap for us.
This is like a bomb on my face. Suddenly. Okay, okay, I don't know what to do suddenly. All right, I mean, this is something I wrote in college. I think I'll do this one because I wrote it as a kid and I love it for some reason. It's, again, very girly, like for all my ladies. So women empowerment, girl power there. Okay. All you ladies in the house, you beautiful mamas in the crowd, you waiting for DJ Sheree to get you laughs and smiles and big white grins. What about you handsome guys looking for some pretty flies? Are you two in line for me looking for sweetie, naughty and shawty? If that's the case, increase the bass, tell it on your face, just tie your lace. And here's the tip, to win some grace, you watch your girl, just give her face. But keep in mind, don't be late, a stitch in time could save mine. If you want to say that she is mine, follow my rules and try to be cool because you're not in school, you love playing pool. You look like a fool when you spike your hair. And if you got a Benz, I do not care. Your Benz is now what I need from you. Just love and care is what we'll do. While I rap, you gotta take some rest because I won't stop till you say I'm the best.
Thank you so much. Kudos. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And it was so meaningful. I don't know. Is it a popular one that you say, or how is it actually?
It's our own creation.
At a college fest in Mumbai, I had come back here in 2004, 2005. War of Rappers was on. So this, I wrote something standing downstairs in like 10 minutes outside the stage and to perform, and I won that competition. So,
excellent.
which girls didn't do back then in 2004, 2005, very few girls again. So I was the only girl in those competitions, and we had Divine and Aditya Narayan and Adar Malik and these people. And I was this tiny little girl competing. And most of the time I did come in top 3, so it was fun. So basically I have this thing, I always want to do something which is male dominated. And I'm like, why should only guys have all the fun? We can do it.
So all the guys in your college who had Benz were heartbroken?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, fulfill your request.
Thank you so much. It was very nice you being here. Like, I can say it as a pride of Blackbuck Hobbies Club.
Thank you.
I can really say it is the pride of Blackbuck Hobbies Club. When I have thought to call many one, but I particularly fixed up your name. So it should be an woman entrepreneur and woman performer should launch this, because I have a motive that our CEO is also woman. It should be in the same note.
Thank you so much. I'm honored. And I hope this does very well. And this is one example here of taking my, not really hobby, but taking my passion and making it into my profession. And it has really paid off well for 16 years. So for 16 years, I've been so busy with my hobby, my passion, that I've not had time to do anything else. So I hope it works out for everybody else. Find something you love, and that's it. Make it help, make it your passion, and let it help you grow.
Thank you. And please be associated with us. And we will keep you posted on various developments that we have in the Hobbies Club. And we're also launching a lot of contests for the students. So now and then, please be judge for those entries.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Anything else? Any questions you have, Akila and Mahalakshmi?
Ma'am, finally, what is your any suggestions to young minds who want to choose the career in DJing?
Just if you love music, again, crazy about music, think of this job, and do not look at other, people doing it for money or the fame of it. Don't, just do it your way, and just make sure you love the job, you love the music, and that's it. If you love music, do it. And money should never be the reason that you choose something. Money or fame or glamour attached to it should not be the reason, and just do it purely for the music. And tell your parents, a lot of kids are very talented, but their parents are like, you cannot become a DJ because you will work in a nightclub and they do a lot of alcohol and drugs and this and that over there. So please tell your parents, like, you don't have to, even associate yourself or grow close to any of this, because a lot of successful DJs are there, including me. We don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do any of the other things. And as far as female DJs are concerned, you don't have to wear skimpy clothes. You can wear, fully covered clothes as well. And you can just go. Your job is to rock the party, to entertain the people. And that's it. Just make people have fun and you enjoy yourself. That's about it. So go ahead if you want to be a DJ and if you love this job and the music. So just go do it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your words, ma'am. It's very fantastic to talk to you and you answering our questions and your rap. It's really amazing. Thank you for giving your time, ma'am.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Shireen. All the best to you too. More power to you and more heights.
And all the best to the entire team of Blackbuck. Once again, thank you so much for having me here. It was lovely talking to you all. And all the aspiring DJs, just go ahead, do it. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And then I introduce Manaswini to take forward the session.
Now, an interesting webinar coming up on photography by an amazing food styling photographer. Now, I like to present Bomalicious creator, photographer Indrajit Nishad. Indrajit is a Mumbai-based food designer and photographer. He studied biotechnology at a university in Bandra. He was so passionate in food styling, he has the chance to explore various genres and test new ideas. With the emerging talent, which is so broad and increasing, he finds it interesting to explore different styles, and trying out new ideas excites him the most. He tries to catch and integrate the extravagant flavors and cuisines that can be seen nowadays with his own touches. He is now strong with food styling and photography, and his blog gives us a chance to look at his lens and what he feels. Indrajit constantly strives to distinguish himself in what he does because he likes to establish a theme with his style and photographs.
Why? You have to publish to our own people. Why students need step by step? Is that something else or what?
Now I would like Mr. Indrajit to speak a few words on his journey of food styling photography.
Hey guys, can you hear me, guys?
You're audible, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Pablo, for introducing me. So I'll start with my name. My name is Indrajit Nishad. I'm a biotech graduate student. I started food styling and photography probably 6 years back when I was into college. I had this hobby of going out and having food, basically exploring different cuisines in and around Bombay. And that's when this idea struck to my mind, like why not do blogging as a part of as a career. And then slowly and gradually I started clicking pictures. And obviously being a blogger, this only being a blogger won't help you in a long term. You have to be very specific about what you're doing. That's when I started food photography, and after slowly and gradually I went into food styling as well. So this is how my journey started 7 years back, and it's been 4 to 5 years now since I'm doing food photography and styling. So this conclude my overall journey. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible.
Okay. So we'll start with the today's session then.
Yes, sir. It was good. So it was good introducing you, sir. So we have few interesting questions for you.
Okay.
Manaswini will take forward that.
Okay.
Hello, Indrajit. While Manaswini asks you questions, thank you first of all to accept and come down to this forum to speak to the students. My name is Anuradha, and
Hello.
I'm founder of the Blackbuck Engineers. And very glad to have you here in this session, and looking forward for your session and explanation about photography and details related to that.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for accepting this invitation.
My pleasure, ma'am. My pleasure.
So, Manaswini, you have questions?
I think
You are not audible, Manaswini.
Manaswini, unmute yourself. No, you are not.
Manaswini, unmute yourself.
So, sir, before getting into the questions Q&A session, as I told you, we are we are soon going to release a photography contest.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. So,
Can we expect few tips from you, sir, or how to conduct that contest? How should it go through?
So I think I'll be in a better state after I finish this session completely. When I'll explain all the details, tips and tricks that goes behind photography and styling, and at the end of that, I can give a better explanation in terms of the context that you're gonna held it.
So you can start off the session. Are you able to share the screen? Do you want to share the screen?
Yes. I'll start with the today's session. So just give me a minute. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
No, sir.
Now?
No, sir.
Okay. Now?
Yes, sir. You
Oh.
can.
So I'll start with my name. My name is Indrajit Nishad, guys. I'm a professional food stylist and photographer based out in Mumbai. I'm doing food styling and photography since 4 years now, and it's been a roller coaster journey, I would say. So let's start with the today's topic, which is an introduction to the basic of food styling and photography. So today we'll be covering only and only the basics that you need to know in terms of photography and the food styling. So to start with, I would like to start with the basics of photography. So what is photography basically? People say photography is, a way of expressing something, or people say a way of, photography is some memories that you captured in a frame. But in terms of food photography, I would say photography is more like a painting where you create something in the form of light, because light plays a very, very important role in terms of photography. It can make or destroy your image completely. So instead of going to most expensive camera or the most expensive lens, I would rather suggest you understand the light first, be it be the natural light, artificial light, or any, there's only two kind of light which is available. One is available in abundant called the natural light, and the other one is an artificial light where you use a kind of a strobe or any kind of light to enlighten that particular product. So this is what photography is according to me. And now let's directly jump into the basics of the photography that one needs to know in order to capture that particular object in an appealing way. To start with, I would like to start with camera settings. Camera settings, obviously, if you don't know anything about camera setting, then you are nothing. You can't do anything about it. So you need to understand the basics of camera settings. So camera setting has a three major factor that makes a particular image. The first one being the aperture, the second one being the shutter speed, and the ISO, also known as camera sensitivity. I'll go into the detail of all these three stuff, but these three factors are the most important factors when it comes to the photography: aperture, shutter speed, and your ISO. To start off with aperture, it's basically the opening of the lens. So if you see the lens, there's an opening that allows the light to pass into your camera sensor. The aperture decide that opening of the lens. So the less the aperture is, the more wide your camera lens will be. For example, if you see here at f2.8, the lens hole is wide open, whereas at f22, the lens hole is completely shut and there's a very small hole that allows the light to pass into the lens and then reflect into the camera sensor. I will explain you in a very layman's term aperture. So I would like you all to try one experiment. Sit in the dark, use your phone flash, and slowly move that phone flash away from you. So the moment you move the flash away from your eyes, your eyes pupil will start getting enlarged. The reason being that allows the light to pass more so that you can see the more object. This is exactly how the camera apertures works. The more wide open it is, the more light will fall into your lens and further to your camera sensor. The higher the value, the less light will fall into the lens hole and the camera sensor. So this is the first factor called aperture. All these factors, be it be aperture, be it be shutter speed, or be it be ISO, these only and only control the exposure. There's three factor: aperture, shutter speed, and ISO, only and only to control exposure of the camera. Let's move on to the examples. So I'll explain you another bit. At f.2, because the camera lens hole is wide open, more light fall into it. So the very less, substance will be in the focus. Remember this one thing: less aperture, less object will be in the focus. More the value of aperture, more the area of the frame will be in focus. So if you see the example at f.2, we shot this image at f.2 where you see the only that one particular cupcake is sharp focus, rest all the other object are quite blurry. So this happen at a lower aperture value. The more you go higher and higher, the more object in the frame will be in the focus. For example, if you see at for 5.6, the glass, the bottle, and even the model is in focus. And if you see the reference image 3, it was shot as f11. So if you see, every minute detail on that packaging is visible. So if you want to create that bokeh effect where have a very blurry background, and you just only want to focus on the model or the product, one particular or a single product, that's when you keep your aperture to a very low value, which is either it can be 2.8 or 3.2, or max you can go till 3.5. But if you want to keep more area in the frame focus, then you have to work with the larger aperture value, which can be 5.6 or 5.10. Normally we don't go till f22. That happens only when you're shooting a landscape photo, or probably you can say you're going out and you're shooting a mountain, or nature, or any shot of that thing. That's when you use a very high aperture value. But in terms of products photography and food photography, you normally work between 5.6 to 8 point something or 10 point something. And we don't work with 2.8 also, to be very honest, because sometimes when you work for clients, they want the area to be more visible clearly than the less this thing. So aperture is basically how much area you want in a frame to be in focus, or how much area you don't want to be in focus. So this decide the shallow depth of field. So am I clear with the aperture? It's decide the shallow depth of field. Okay. We'll move to the next factor, which is the shutter speed. Now this play a very important role when you're shooting action shots. If you see that chocolate drizzle, or you shooting a rain falling, or a moving object, or a bike moving, or any moving object, when you're shooting any moving object in any genre of photography, shutter speed plays a very important role. I'll if you keep the shutter speed is decided by your camera lens. For example, if I'm using a 50 mm lens, my shutter speed should always be double than that of focal length of that particular lens. For example, I'm shooting with 100 mm lens, my shutter speed has to be 1:200 at any point of time in order to avoid shakiness. However, if you don't have that desirable condition, or you don't have any good lighting, you will have to keep the lower shutter speed. But in that case, you cannot capture a motion shot, but you can capture a still object. But you'll have to keep one thing in mind, and that is use a steady object. Either it can be a tripod, or you can keep your camera, let's say, on a table or a book, or anything, just to avoid the shakiness in that image. So just like the first point says, lower shutter speed leads to motion blur in the picture. So for example, if I say I'm using a lens which is 50 mm, and then I'm keeping my shutter speed at if you see on the right side, there's an example at 1:4. Probably I'll have more light passing through my lens, but because my lens is 50 mm, I need to maintain that optimum value of shutter speed, which is either I have to give 1:50 or 1:100. If I go below that, my frame will be blurry. Okay. Moving on to the next, higher shutter speed allows less light to pass through your lens, but it freezes the moment. For example, if the model is dancing, And then if I keep my shutter speed around, let's say 1:500 or 1:1000, I can freeze each and every second. So 1:3, 1:4, 1:8 this is the fraction of second. If you see 1:3, that is for like in 1 second, that is 1/3 of the fraction of that particular second. So imagine the moment you're freezing it. If you go like 1:8000, so in 1 second you divide that a second by 8000, so that's the time you're freezing it. So this is how shutter speed exactly work. You freeze that particular moment in short time, like ekdam aram se. So this is how shutter speed plays an important role when you're shooting for action shots. I'll get more into details. So if you see, for the first image, we were using 100 lens, and then our shutter speed was like 1:100. As I mentioned, my shutter speed always has to be double the focal length of the lens. So here, since our shutter speed was very, very low as compared to the action thing, the falling of the sugar dust is very blurry. However, if you see the second image, we shot at 1:800, where you see the smoke coming out and everything was sharp, clear, and there's no blurry in the or motion blur in the picture at all. The higher the value we go, if you see that 1:1600, you see every drop of sugar particles, you see every drop of that fire thing, you see everything very, very clearly. So this shot that was taken at 1:1600, it freezes that everything at a point sharp, this thing. So you get everything in focus, everything is stand still, and you get a beautiful image when it comes to the action shot. So we are done with the aperture, we are done with the shutter speed. Now moving on to the third factor, which I feel it's mostly neglected by most of the photographer around the world, because this may cause a damage to your final image. ISO, also known as camera sensitivity. ISO, again, I've told you initially, all these factors control the exposure of the image, be it be aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. We mostly play with aperture and shutter speed, but when the situation is very bad, that's when we go to ISO. Remember, ISO will, if you keep increasing the ISO to a particular point, uh, it start creating grains in the image. Every the image will have blurry stuff, and it will be more like a distorted or a grainy substance, basically where nothing is very clear. You have grain, noisy, basically noise in the image. So when people ask me what is an optimum ISO to work with, I would say the optimum ISO to work with any kind of photography is 100. But if things go beyond your control, you can move to up till 1600. Apart from that, there's a big no-no. But still, if you're shooting at night, and then you don't have anything in terms of lighting, you don't have any street light or in moonlight or any sort of that, you don't have a choice. You'll have to go till 2,56,000 or something, but then again it will be a very, very noisy image. So concluding the first set of this thing, in order to control the exposure in any kind of photography, three factor plays a very important role: aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. Aperture decide the focal area or the focus area in your image. Shutter speed decide how much action you want to capture in that particular image. And the ISO, again, it only compromise of the controlling the exposure. Am I clear with this three term? Any questions till now?
No questions, Indrajit.
Okay, so we'll move to the next thing. So yeah, this is an example. The first image was shot at ISO 100. The second image, if you see, there's a bit of grain in it. It was shot at ISO 6400. So this is why we keep the ISO at a very low value to avoid the graininess and the other stuff. Because when you do a shoot and that particular image goes for banner or any sort of that thing, then there will be a hell lot of noise, and it won't look appealing at all.
No, sorry to interrupt, Indrajit. Can you go back? Yeah, so what's the difference between both you said?
There's a grain in the image. So if you see the first image, it's very clear. If you see
Right.
the second image, I'll slightly zoom in if you want. I can't zoom in, I
You
guess.
can't
So
zoom. Okay.
if you see the second image, it's not very clear. There's a grain in it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, how do people make the difference? Because I see people use really bad photographs with lot of noise, lot of grain. That's what
So,
you.
yes. Again, I'll tell you, when you don't have an option in terms of lighting, and you shot that particular image at a very high ISO, at that time you need to click that image and we'll go into the post production stuff. So there's a very important function in editing, particularly in Lightroom, called noise reduction.
Right.
Slide that noise reduction all the way to 100, and then that the image that you see at 6400, you will get that image looks like shot on ISO 100. So the noise reduction again plays a very important role in the Lightroom. But I think if you shot this image and then you drag all the way to the 100 in the noise reduction, still that image, when it goes for the print or the banner, it won't be as clear as the image that was shot on ISO 100. Yeah, to avoid something, you can obviously go, but if you're working with a higher end or professional, if your client want it for the professional basis, then you'll have to work with lower ISO. However, if you're working, or if you're clicking the image for your Instagram or something like that, then you can go beyond 6400, and then later in the Lightroom you can just do a little bit of adjustment and then you're good to go. So now we'll move to the camera mode. So now we know the basics of the camera setting. It's time to understand what different modes are in terms of camera, and in different mode what you can do. To start off with, auto mode, as the name suggests, it's auto. You can't do anything. You just have to click that shutter button, and the rest of the stuff will be done by the camera. You can't decide your shutter speed, you can't decide your aperture, you can't decide your ISO. Everything will be decided by the camera. All you have to do is click that shutter button. Rest all the job will be done by the camera. However, since it's an auto mode, you don't have any control. Probably you may like that image in the beginning, because I see a lot of photographers, when they buy a new camera, they shoot it on an auto mode and then they start liking that particular image. I would suggest it's not gonna work in the long term, because if you have the surrounding conditions good, the lighting is perfect, the auto mode can give you the best result. But the moment it start getting tricky, or the weather is cloudy, or you shooting it in the evening, auto mode will just destroy your image. It will just destroy your image. So to start with, you can start with the auto mode, but don't stick to it. That's a big no. Don't stick to auto mode. Second mode that we have in camera is called the aperture priority mode. Again, if you remember, I told you aperture is basically how much area you want in a particular image to be in focus. So aperture priority is specifically for that kind of a shot. For example, I want, in this image, if you see, I wanted all the eggs to be in focus, and that's why I keep my aperture at f11, because higher the aperture, the more area will be in focus. So aperture priority, what it does is you set your desirable apertures. For example, you set f11, and the rest of the other factor will be decided by the camera. So the shutter speed will be decided by the camera. The ISO will be decided by the camera. Only what you need to do is put your own desirable value of that particular aperture. Rest all the factor will be taken care by the camera. But again, since you don't have any control, you may get that particular image to be sharp focus, but the lighting may not be according to your preferences, because the shutter speed was decided by the camera. Again, the ISO was decided by the camera, and depending on the environment light, the camera will decide how much exposure it needs to be given to the particular image. You may like it, you may not like it. So that's why we move to the another factor called shutter priority mode. Again, that as the name suggests, shutter, you put your desirable shutter speed. All the other factor will be controlled by the camera. For example, if you want to freeze that sugar dusting, you decide that shutter speed. For example, you kept it like let's say 1:600. You put that shutter speed. The aperture and the ISO will be decided by the camera. So again, you may have that sugar falling point sharp focus, but since the aperture was decided by the camera, you may not get that bokeh effect that you're getting in this particular image. For example, if you see the background is very blurry, and the focus is only on the cupcake with that rabbit with the carrot and the sugar dust. If you're shooting in the shutters priority mode, then you may get this kind of image, but then again, most of the area might be in focus, or the exposure may not be as good as this image looks like. So that's when the most important, and probably I would say the only and only mode that you guys should be using in camera is a manual mode. They say every person is a photographer until this mode comes into picture, because if you have a camera, you can go to the auto mode and click whatever shot you want, but the moment you go to the manual mode, things get a lot of crazy, because every factor is decided by you. You decide your aperture, you click the shutter speed, you decide the shutter speed, and you decide your ISO. In order to decide all this, you will have to have a very strong knowledge about lighting. So if you know all this, aperture, shutter speed, and ISO, you're the boss. You can, nail that shot. But trust me, always shoot in manual mode. I know it's tricky, keep practicing, but shoot in the manual mode. So we're done with the two major chunks, which is the basics of camera and the modes in camera. The basics was how to control the exposure through three means: aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. And the modes, again, it's an elaboration of the same stuff, but in terms of mode. So you decide your aperture value in the aperture priority mode, you decide your shutter speed in the shutters priority mode, and then in the manual mode, everything is controlled by you. And shooting, the advantage of shooting in manual mode is, suppose if you messed up with something, something is not proper, and if you want to get that details in the post production, you can easily get when you shoot it in the manual mode and in the raw mode. So we're done with two factors for now. We'll move to the next and the most important factor, which is food styling. uh, Again, food styling is an art where boring food become interesting and appealing. So this is what food styling is all about. When you see, most of the food, they might taste good, but if they don't look appealing, people don't feel like eating it. For example, if I give you a McDonald's ka normal burger, and if I show you the same burger, probably you won't feel like going to the McDonald's and ordering that McDonald's. In order to make that burger very appealing and put it in the banner, so that only you can go for uh, into the McDonald's, and then you buy that burger and eat it. Because if I show you the real one, you won't be coming to McDonald's ever. So let's start with the food styling. Things that you need for food styling is obviously camera and lens. Then you need backgrounds and props. Three factors, again, very important in terms of food styling and photography: camera and lens, backgrounds, and props. uh what backgrounds do you use in food styling? This is again depend on personal preferences, and it's also depend on client preferences and what they're looking for. But if you're starting your career as a food styling, I would suggest, because initially things get very tricky, particularly when you're working with shiny surfaces. If you're working with shiny surfaces, then probably the food won't look appealing, and if the light falls, the highlight will be more on the particular surface more than on the food. So in order to avoid that, always go for neutral tone background, something very rusty, white tone, grayish or wooden rustic background, something like that sort of. Avoid neon colors, avoid yellow, avoid orange. These make food looks very unappealing, and not feeling to eat like. Going with the neutral tones, a big thumbs up. Then avoid shiny surfaces. This is what we prefer, particularly in terms of background. In terms of props, again same thing, no shiny surfaces, unless you're working with for the client and you don't have an option. Choose a variety size and colors. For example, if I have a plate, I don't want that plate of that particular size itself. I want that plate to be the bigger, in a smaller size also, in medium size also, so that I can play in and around in terms of composition. If I keep the same size ka plate, so for example, if I shot one image where I have three plates, all of similar size, probably it won't look that appealing. But if I use a bigger plate and a smaller plate and a smaller cutleries, in terms of composition wise, that will complete my overall frame. Again, the third factor, fabrics. Again, very very important when it comes to food styling. It gives a homely vibe when you use a fabric. However, I don't like using fabrics when I shoot for clients. But particularly if you're doing a recipe shot, if you're shooting at home, use good fabrics, iron good fabrics. Again, neutral tone, no high fancy stuff, no neon color. Don't just avoid using neon colors. In terms of glasswares, I would suggest initially start with plain glass, because it's in the beginning where there's a lot of reflections going on in and around your project, in and around your frame. Things might get tricky. So start with plain glass, and once you're comfortable enough, use the glass that have texture in it, because that gives a very very good shadow and highlight, and absolutely amazing. Fifth, smaller cutleries, spoons. uh these are the stuff that normally, what we call the heaven in terms of food styling. Like if I get all this is the prop 7 basically. The and getting props, it's not easy to get what you want. You have to go and do research, you have to go to get that particular props. Sometimes you have to go to the antique stores, or look in and around, basically I would say. They say, what in terms of photography, particularly in food styling and photography, someone's waste is our treasure. Particularly if someone don't like something, if you see the spoon on the left side, probably my mom would throw this thing away because it look rustic. It doesn't look as good, you can't eat with this thing. But if you use this same thing in your frame, trust me, this gives a fantastic result. Again, if you see that wooden board, it looks burned out, probably, it's not usable. But if you use this same wooden in when you're shooting a food or any product, this gives an absolute amazing image where, things are very rustic, and then your food looks fantastic. So go for rustic, go for, something which looks real basically. Don't go for high fancy stuffs in the initial stage of your journey, because it just a waste of money, to be very honest. And photography is not, it's not, you can say, something which is light to your pocket. It's a very high expensive hobby. If you have money, then you go for it. But so stop wasting money in the initial stage. Learn from whatever you have at your house or at your vicinity. Again, since you know the basics of camera setting and the basics of what you need in terms of food styling, it's time we start with the styling now. Now when you started, for example, you set the frame, you have everything, you have that cutleries, you know the basics of the camera now, and you're now ready to nail that particular shot. But then you don't know from which direction my light should go in order to make that food look appealing. So this is what very important, the lighting come into pictures, where from which particular angle you're lighting your subject. Okay, so that is, we'll go into the detail. For example, like if you see the first image, if I my exposure is not right, if my if the lighting is not that bright, I may not get that point sharp bright image. However, if my everything, the lighting and everything is perfect, I may get that image that I'm looking for, that you see on the right hand side of the PPT. To start off with, always I would suggest, in fact I suggest to all the beginners out there, to all my fellow friends who start photography as a journey, they ask me this question, Indrajit, what light should I buy, or what light should I invest in? Don't go for any kind of light in the initial stage. Work with something that you have abundantly available, something which is free, which is your sunlight. Once you understand the sunlight, it's only and only you'll understand how the artificial light work. If you have zero knowledge about sunlight, you can't work with artificial light at all. Look at the sun. They say, I would say, if your window is facing on the north side, it's a appropriate condition to work with, because you get that soft diffuse light. However, if you have a window which is facing directly to the east, where you have a harsh sunlight coming through your window, in that case use that white curtain, a white curtain, or butter paper or something, just to diffuse that light and get a very soft buttery light to shoot that particular image. Coming to the types of lighting, as I mentioned, there are two types of light. One is the natural light, and the second one is artificial light. Artificial light again come into two different categories. One is strobes and one is continuous light. Continuous light is basically your LED that we use, and we put a shutter speed, and then we use the LED where the light is constant. However, the strobe is completely different. It controlled by the trigger on the camera. So if you fire that shutter speed, the strobe will fire the light, and it will be brighten the image, and it will no longer be continuous this thing. Working with continuous light gives a lot of flexibility, and you can control, you can see the frame, and you can control everything that is happening in the frame. However, if you're working with strobe, you can't judge the light, because it only fires once you trigger the shutter speed. So in the beginning, if you are confident enough with the natural light, go with the continuous light, and once you understand the concept of continuous light, go with the strobe lights. That I would suggest if you start the food photography. Again, in terms of lighting, we have different, as I mentioned, in what way you need to brighten your food or product. So in food photography, people mostly work with side lighting, where you have your product, and then you light it from either this side or that side, and you have the camera, as you see in the diagram that is been shown in the PPT. So the food is there, and you light it either from the side. These are few of the examples that was shot using a side lighting setup, where you see on the right side there's a shadow, on the left side the image is very lit. Again, the second one image, you get the shadow either on the right side or the left side. This is when you use the side lighting. Moving on to the next factor, which is backlighting. Backlighting is something which you where you light the product from the back of the this thing. The all the three this thing will be in one plane. For example, you have your light at the back, you have the food product, and then you have the camera. All the three element will be aligned in one plane. And if you see this example that I've shown, particular black, and I absolutely love black backlighting, because the amount of highlight and shadows that are created in the backlighting is just amazing. You see there's a huge highlight on the back, and the shadow is towards the front. So all this factor work in one plane. However, I would suggest don't work with backlighting in the initial stage of journey, because you may not like it. Uh, in order to work with backlighting, yeah, again, backlighting work well extremely in when you're shooting a glass, or you're shooting a soup maybe, or cookies. I would suggest, if you're shooting a glass or something, or drink basically, or a cocktail or a juice, backlighting works absolutely well, absolutely well. Go for it. And then we have one more lighting setup, where instead of going completely from the back, you go slightly diagonal. So not in one plane, but if you go slightly diagonal, your product is here, your light will be slightly backward but in an angular way, and you have the camera right in front of the product. Again, works absolutely well in when you're using a hand model in the image. Someone is holding that food for you, or that product for you. So you get the shadow right from a shoulder to the product, and everything is lit, and then on the right side you get that drama happening in that particular image. Yeah, as the slide mentioned, it works well when you're using a hand model. So we're done with three important concept in terms of lighting, which is side lighting, backlighting, and side backlighting. Use these three concepts, and then you're good to go. Things to avoid in terms of food photography, particularly in lighting: do not use front lighting at all. Example, you see on the right hand side, we shot this burger. If you light that image from the front, and you're clicking that particular image from either on your camera or a mobile phone, things not will not look appealing. If you see the example, it's not looking appealing at all, because it will create a harsh light on the front, and everything in the back would be like just there. So avoid front lighting, avoid top lighting. Top lighting works well when you're using when you're shooting for say model, or you want his face to be highlight, and then you want the shadow somewhere here. It works well when you're shooting model or doing any kind of product photography. But if you're doing a food photography, front light and overhead lighting, which is top lighting, it's a big no again. Don't use these two kind of lighting at all. Points to remember while shooting: always diffuse the light using a diffuser. As I mentioned, if you have your window facing the east, and you get a very harsh sunlight coming from the window, again the image will look like, if you're using a very flash from the front. So diffuse that light, use either your white curtain, or use butter paper, or even you can use something white cloth or something. So just to get a diffuse and a very soft buttery light. Avoid highly reflective surface. As a beginner, don't shoot your food product on a reflective surface. uh, Again, because the light will be so harsh that your eyes will not go directly on the food. It will, that particular highlight will overpower your product or the food maybe. Avoid using distractive background. Mentioned earlier, don't go for high fancy, what you say, text. You can go for texture, but don't go for highly distractive background, to be very honest. Use very subtle background, take Lex tester and the subtle one. Last but not the least, yeah, keep practicing, believe in yourself, and remember there's no shortcut for anything. You'll have to keep practicing and practicing in order to ace in that particular field. So that's it from my side, guys. Happy shooting. Thank you. I hope I clear most of the doubt, and if not, let's start with the question answer session. If you guys have any questions.
Indrajit, it was a fantastic one. Thank you for taking pain in explaining so many things about food photography. So my question is, I see so much of stock photos in the internet, right? Especially of food. There are a lot available as free
Yeah.
photos of the food, and also if someone from the students want to become a food photographer, is there a way of earning through that? Is there a market for that?
Yes, yes. There's a huge market for that. You can, there's currently, so now there's a hell lot of platform where you can sell your image. One being the Shutterstock and Amelie and all this stuff. However, if you start shooting food over a period of time, if you build that particular portfolio, even the clients start approaching you. Instead of earning from that, selling it online or something like that, the client even start approaching you. So yeah, again, these two platform you can get good, but over a period, because there's a competition now, like people, there in my locality, when I started as a journey this photography, there was only 9 to 10 photographers, and now we have more than 200 photographers. So it's the quality that matters, not the quantity. If you have a good quality, yes, you get what you are doing, and if you don't have that quality, then yeah, then you'll have to work on it.
How did you choose specifically food photography?
Yes, I chose for food photography because I started my journey, as mentioned, I started my journey as a food blogger. I did a food blogging for almost 3 years. I've been a food critic. I've worked with well-known chefs in the industry, Hemant Oberoi, Rakhi Vaswani, Ranveer Brar, and all these people. So that's, the food is something that excites me. Like I love trying new cuisines and going to different places and having good food. So this is how things started.
Okay, we will all follow your blog or your Instagram. We want to see these photos
Absolutely.
with all the tips that you have given.
Yes, it would be an honor.
Really very fantastic, but also looks very tough. Sounds tough to me.
Yes, it is like, some I would say photography, in any genre of photography, if you don't have patience, you can't do it. You can't do it. I'll tell you, sometime when we do a burger shot, particularly the other day I was shooting at ITC. I'm still at ITC in Bangalore. We were shooting burgers, and that one particular burger took us 5 hours. Imagine that one single shot of the burger took us 5 hours. So yeah, learn to be patient if you're starting food photography as a career, because trust me, clients are horrible. Like they can go to any level to torture you, basically.
Understand. Yeah. Great inputs that we have received, Indrajit, and we are planning to do a photography contest. So
Yes,
request
yes,
you to have a look at the pictures that the students have posted.
I would absolutely love to see those images, and I think you guys are doing a contest based on food photography and landscape, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. I would like Roshan might want to speak about that.
Yes.
Indrajit, hi.
Hello.
It's good that you're here. I just want to say about Indrajit. Indrajit is one. Indrajit is one, like, I've called Indrajit at very first initial days, and Indrajit told me that anytime, like, because he's very busy in his daily capturing all his photographic reels, and his clients are very busy. He'll be very busy with his clients in spite of his busy schedule. Like, thanks Indrajit for being here.
It's my pleasure, sir. It's my pleasure.
Yeah. I know Indrajit as a food photographer. If you don't know Indrajit, I'll just tell you about Indrajit. Indrajit has a page called Bombaylicious.
Yes.
Which have nearly 40,000 plus subscriber, 40,000 plus followers in Instagram. If you guys want to check out his profile, you can go and check out his profile. And one more thing I can say that Indrajit is the leading food styling photographer in the market in India right now. I really thank Indrajit in spite of your busy schedule. I know you are in Bangalore today. Like, I know you are in ITC Bangalore today. You are working for some other project. Thanks for being with us, Indrajit.
Thank you.
I'd like Manashvi to say about the contest. I'll just tell you about the contest. Indrajit, we are launching a contest called the Food Styling and the Photography Contest. We are probably commencing that contest. We are giving a flag off probably from Wednesday or Monday or Wednesday, by tomorrow or day after tomorrow.
Okay.
So thing is, like, we are collecting the entries of food photography and other landscape photography.
Okay.
So we just request you, like, kindly please be as a judge, as a mentor. Like, since it is the first contest, and I am very proud that I can easily get my name branded easily, because of I have done launch with Shirin, as well as you are the one who really helped me a lot for the webinar.
Thank you.
And I also expect the same thing. Like, I know you're busy, but please be as a judge for this photographic contest. We'll be running this photographic contest for the next 10 to 15 days, and all the final inputs will be sent to you. Please take this forward, and please kindly do this event, since we are launching this as the first time from the Blackbuck's Hobbies Club.
I would love to do that, sir. I would love to do that.
Thank you, Indrajit. Thank you so much, Indrajit.
Most welcome. It was lovely talking to you guys. Any questions? Any confusion? Anything?
No, actually, we'll take some.
Here there are a few questions that we need. Yeah. So how did your family respond when you shared the news to them about food blogging and all, like career in photography?
I was a biotech student. I've also worked with Central Railway. So something out. Something your parents won't like it initially, but if you believe in yourself, trust me, you can do anything and everything in life. Don't go run for fame. Don't go run for money. That's what everyone will suggest you. Every influencer currently, they'll tell you the same thing, and even I'll tell you the same thing. Yeah, I'll tell you, money plays a very important role, because at the end of the day, you need to pay that rent, you need to pay that electricity bill. But if you're passionate about doing something, if you know that I can do something, and it's not only I can do, you'll have to work for it. Obviously, when you do something which is very new to the society, or very new to the in the family, obviously people won't support you. But if you start proving yourself, then yeah, they will. And now my parents are very happy that I'm doing this food blogging and photography as a part of my career.
Who is your mentor that inspired you most?
There's no one person as such. I would say there are many people around the globe, particularly Russian photographers, New York photographers, and in India there's a guy called Nitin Tandon sir. He has been a big mentor for me to start this journey.
So if it's not a photography, what career would you choose? Would have been choose?
As I told you, I was a
railway
biotech graduate student. Thankfully, there's a story behind it. So, when I did my graduation, my result was halted by the Mumbai University. I think not only mine, there were a few people whose result was halted. And I got selected in Symbiosis, another university, but since my result was halted, I didn't get admission, although I got selected in that particular university. So I have to take a break for 1 year. And once you take a break, you don't feel like doing something, you don't feel like studying also. So because I already had a page in the name of Bombilicious. In that 1 year gap, I got from one of the most leading brand in the industry right now called Rebel Food. If you might heard of Beirut's Biryani, Fazos, and all these brands. So I've been their head food stylist for almost 2 years. But later, when you get a lot of clients, you can't work with one particular client, and I was working there on a daily basis. So that's when I thought, instead of focusing only on one client, I would rather focus across India. So yeah, that's how things started.
Any tips for young and budding photographers?
Yes, whatever you're doing, you just keep doing. Yeah, like in the beginning, you might feel like कि क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं and all the stuff, but if you genuinely feel that you're just good at what you're doing, keep doing it. Keep patience. Most important factor, be patient. I tend to lose patience sometimes, but I would suggest you guys be patient, because since when we started, the competition was not as such, but now there's a huge competition. Every other, in your own society, you might find 2 or 3 photographers. So if you don't have patience, don't do photography.
Do we have to have camera, or can we start our journey with a phone as a phone photographer?
I would suggest, as I mentioned, don't go for investing money in any particular object, because if you see current phones, when we started, we had those Blackberries, 1.2 megapixel camera and all this stuff. But now things are high fancy. Even the other day I was shooting with Oppo something, and I was like, dude, my camera doesn't work this much under low lighting condition. So the phones are doing fabulous job right now. All you need to understand is the light, guys. Don't invest on camera, don't invest on lens. If you understand, start learning the light, start learning, the concept of light. I know commerce or any other field, but people will say, oh, I don't need to go to the physics part. You don't need to go to the physics part, but understand, look at the the sunlight coming from your window, observe the light for 1 day, you'll understand everything. See the direction of light at 8 p.m. The rays will be different, at 10 p.m. it will be different, and 12 p.m. the rays will be different. So that's how you understand light, and if you understand light, then you can nail with any instrument you have.
So the next question is, what is one of your favorite works, like what you felt the most happiest thing that you have worked?
When I'm shooting for ITC for all their all India hotels. So I've been traveling since a month. Currently I'm in Bangalore. The next month I will be in Hyderabad and then Goa. So this is the biggest moment of my life right now, I can say.
That is great, and all the best for your next step. So what is the one thing you wish you know when you're starting the photography?
I wish I knew Photoshop. I wish I knew Photoshop, because over a period of time, when you start shooting for e-commerce purpose, and when you start shooting for big banners and hi-fi fundu clients, that's when you realize that camera does only 50% of your job. The rest 50% happened in the post production. So this is what I feel. If I knew Photoshop long back, probably I could have done much better.
So what is your go-to, like what you use now for that photography now, like Photoshop?
Yeah, I use Photoshop for in order. So for example, when you shoot for a particular brand, and for sometime they might not have yesterday, for example, yesterday's event, I'll tell you, we were shooting burgers, and by the time it was three hours, the lettuce start dying, the lettuce leaf, you don't get that fresh leaf, and because it's a lockdown and things are quite horrible here right now, so you don't get that fresh leaf. And finally we decided, we'll photoshop that particular letters. So we'll use the stock image or the image that we have shot. Obviously stock image you can't use it because you have to get a license for it. So when we shoot, we shot that layering stuff. We shoot patty, we shoot lettuce, we shoot tomatoes, and in the Photoshop we stack it. Yeah, and there's a hell lot of cheating that I'll go into detail probably anytime soon when you guys invite me again. I'll go into the basics, and you'll see that whatever you see on the screen is completely different than what we do on the set. Yes.
That's really great, sir. We got a lot of information about photography, and we people, like few students or few people, don't know about this photography and all, and we got a lot of information through this session. Thanks a lot for your informative session, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now I would like Mahalakshmi to give the thanks note.
Your speech was really good, sir. It was really interactive webinar.
Thank you.
We gained many things, like people feel like to do photography, but they don't know few basics, but you gave them many basics.
Thank
So it's
you.
really interesting, and we got so much knowledge, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Roni
Indrajit,
sir will give the...
Indrajit, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was pleasure being here.
It was a wonderful, time spending with you guys. I hope that session was informative enough. Would love to see the, the work done by the students in future, and probably would love to judge those images. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're also looking forward. When you're in Hyderabad, please do reach us.
Of course, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you, Indrajit. Thank you. Looking forward.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, hello everyone. As this is a platform where we can thank everyone, each and every individual who have performed here. Like I'll just give a brief note about what we are. We are Blackbuck's Hobbies Club, where we do different kinds of hobbies, not only photography, not only music production. We do every kinds of hobbies such as art. We do art. We do reels. We do filmmaking. Who are interested in different kinds of activities that which you really love to perform or which we love to register, please do contact us, and please do have this form filled up. Our team will get back to you, and will make sure that you'll be in one particular group which you'll be engaged in, and your skills will be improved out on that particular note. Thank you so much for this, and I really thank Sharon, like who's like I can really say that in spite of our busy schedule, I can she's the one who is more anxious about how to perform. Like she's the one who really helped us a lot for taking this so much, and I thank her for launching our hobbies club, and I also thank Indrajit for this. The major thing I would like to thank Anuradha ma'am and Raj sir for letting us to do this, for giving us free hand to do this hobbies club launch. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you everyone for sparing your Sunday evening and gracing the occasion.